Hey yo, what's up and welcome. I'm the one and only West Coast King, and welcome back to Save the Crew, where we're getting season number 2 underway today with the January transfer window. And I said at the end of last episode, where we wrapped up season number 1 with a treble, that I don't think there's really too many roster moves that we need to make. I'm certainly not really interested in selling any of our players. I mean, I'll listen to offers for them, and if something big comes along, I might take it, but I'm not really actively shopping anyone on this roster, at least not right now. But we do have a couple of upgrades to make to the current starting 11. The first one, obviously, is one that we've already made, and that is to the striking position. Now, Eduardo Sousa is technically the Golden Boot winner from last year, although that also includes playoff goals. And because he scored 3 goals in the playoffs, that's why he won the Golden Boot over Gamara from New York Red Bulls. But nonetheless, the trophy is his. And yet he's going to be taking a back seat this season, moving to the bench and a reserve role. Definitely going to be helping the depth on this team, though. But he's going to be moving out for the player we signed on pre-contract in the middle of last season. That is Facundo Ferreira. He's going to be a massive upgrade for us. I mean, his 81 finishing is far better than anyone else on this team now. Plus, his 79 attack positioning is a huge upgrade over Opoku, so he's going to be in the right positions a lot of the time. And on top of that, he gives us another 6'2" frame to aim for on those crosses, along with Gyasi Zardes. So he is definitely a better fit and a better player for this team. Now, the other, I would say, glaring hole in the middle of this starting 11 is Eduardo Sousa. Now, he does have decent potential. He has like low to mid 70s, I think. So, I mean, he does have the ability to possibly be a future first-team player for this team, but I didn't like him last year when he played, and I just don't think he's ready for that spot right now. So, we have some money to play with this season, and I've gone ahead and shortlisted some center attacking mids, and like I said, I'm pretty happy with the rest of this team. I would not be opposed to spending every dime we have on that position in January. Now, this shortlist is really split into 2 different sets of players. The first 3 players on this list, Zelarayan, Pineda, and Barrera. These are players that I scouted up in December before we hit this transfer window with the expectation of having about $17 to $18 million in our new transfer budget for this season. And unfortunately, we don't have that much money. We have less than 16 million. So I'm not sure I can really afford any of these players yet. But we are taking part in a preseason tournament. That will bring us in maybe $1.5 to $2 million more if we can win the whole thing, which hopefully we can. And then we might have an outside shot at getting one of these guys. These 3 players, I feel like this is what we need to replace Higuain in this team. One of them would come in, pick up the slack left by Higuain, and really we would just pick up where we left off and just continue to grow with this team. I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen. We'll have to see how the preseason tournament goes. I'm not going to do any of these moves before we do that preseason tournament, see how much money we actually have to work with here. So hopefully we can get one of them. If not, we move on to the second set of players. These guys have less potential. They're worse overall right now, but they're still pretty good. I'm like low 70s, I would say. So they're still good players, but we're going to be missing a little bit more with them. So it's a little bit disappointing. But Daniel Hernandez, he was a recommendation by one of you guys, actually the only recommendation for a center attacking mid from last episode, so I do appreciate that. So I threw him on this list, although I'm probably not going to end up going with him. Gonzalo Moroni has the better potential out of these 3, but his overall is probably around Eduardo Sousa, so I'm not sure if we want to go that route or not. And then we have Luciano Acosta. He's probably my choice out of these 3. He has a $6.7 million release clause, so just a little bit more than Hernandez. And he's a better player with better overall, better potential. He's just the better player, really. And he has name recognition coming from MLS. So, yeah. We'll have to see how this preseason tournament goes, again, before we make any moves. So, I guess let's get into that, and then we'll see where we stand. Hopefully, we can still get one of my top choices. And actually, before we get into that preseason tournament, I already have an offer in for one of my players, and it's Alex Crognali. He really stepped up last season and became a starter on this team. I'm really not interested in selling him, although if I did, I could get one of my center attacking mids, but we're not going to do that. If an offer comes in for Jonathan Mensah, though, that I will strongly consider, because I want to go with Crognali and Abubakar as my center backs this year. So I'm not going to sell Crognale, but Mensah, that is a different story. So we have another offer in for one of our players, and this one is going to kill me because it's $6 million for Will Trapp. If I sold him right here, I would 100% be able to buy Lucas Zelarayan, bring him into the team. Not only that, I would be able to go with my ideal center mid combo of Arthur and Abu, which I really think would be really, really good in this team. But Will Trapp is our captain, and last time I brought up the idea of selling him, you guys took my head off. So we will keep Will Trapp, for better or worse, and we'll find another way to bring in a center attacking mid. All right, so we have an interesting situation right here. We have a release clause being paid for one of our players, and it is Harrison Affle. And this is a player that I really like. Even though he's getting up there in age and he's starting to decline, he was a very effective player for us last season. An automatic choice in the first team. However, we are trying to raise some funds here to bring in a very important player in a very important position. $2.1 million would go a long way to doing that. Right back is a position that I have another player ready to go to start in if I need to with Hernandez. And the fact that Affle's starting to decline means he's probably not going to be worth very much for very much longer. 2.1 million is probably more than what we could get for him on the open market anyway. I think this is a deal I'm just going to have to let happen. I'm willing to let Affle go. As much as I like him, and I really, really do like him, this deal makes sense. So thank you, Affle, for your service last year. You were a big part of the team, but we're going to have to let him go. All right, so Harrison Affle, the deal went through. He's off to New York. That was very, very difficult for me to pull the trigger on that one, but it's something we had to do. And I've gone ahead and decided to spend a little bit of that money on another player, Reggie Cannon, a right back. He will probably be a backup to Hernandez initially. Give him a little bit of training, though. He has good potential, so he could see a lot of playing time this season a little bit further down the road. We'll have to see how he develops, but we still ended up with over $1 million into our transfer budget for Affle, which is something we desperately needed to do. So let's go ahead and get Reggie Cannon a contract, and then we'll see where we stand money-wise. And actually, before we check the money, let's just go ahead and finish off this preseason tournament. We're into the final here against Veracruz. We really, really need to finish this thing off and win this tournament. That's not a good start for us, but we're going to go ahead and skip this thing and see how we do. We won again. This team 4-3 on penalties. Would you expect anything else? So unfortunately, this is where we stand money-wise. We're at about 15 million in the transfer budget, 76K in the wage budget, which is what I'm guessing is going to take to get Zelarayan. His wages are the thing that really, really screws us over here. So I'm doubting that we're going to be able to get him, but maybe we could get Pineda or Barrera. I'm not sure. We'll have to see how that goes. I might even transfer list a couple of other players on our team that could bring us in maybe 1 or 2 million more. I'm not sure yet. This is probably going to come down to deadline day before we even start making any kind of offers at all. Okay. Well, have I mentioned that nothing with this team is ever easy? Because I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that in the past, and that is absolutely the case here once again. We're getting close to deadline day, and we have an offer in for Mohamed Abu, which is fine and dandy. $4 million from New England. That's a good offer for a player I don't think has much more potential than what he's at. Plus, he's not even a starter on this team. So it's not a bad deal for us. I would have to spend a little bit of that money to get another center mid in just for depth, because I don't have much of it in that position. But it's not a bad deal. On the other hand, we have a completely different problem to deal with, and that is Hellas Verona once again want one of our players. They've paid the release clause for Jonathan Mensah of $3 million, which, if we allowed that to happen, might be enough to make all of our dreams come true at center attacking mid. And honestly, I'm considering letting this one happen just because we have Abubakar and Crognale, who I want to be the starters in there. They have potential. I want to see them grow into those positions. We have depth in the position. We have another 68 rated center back. I don't remember his name. Plus, we have Niarco out of the youth academy who can play there as well. So we're covered at center back. I'm just so hesitant to blow this entire team up just to buy a center attacking mid. But of these two deals, Abu and Mensah, the Mensah one makes the most sense. I'm not sure it's going to be enough to get Zelarayan anyway. But I'm not going to sell Abu because it's just too much work to replace him. And again, I don't want to blow the team up. So Abu, Not going to happen. Amensa, it's looking like is. So, again, that's another starting defender gone from this team. All right, so there's 5 hours left on deadline day here. Still no word on the Mensa deal going through. It's probably going to be completed the day after the window closes, which is so freaking stupid. But we'll just have to make do with the money that we have. So I'll go ahead and start making some offers here for Zelarayan. If it can't get him, I'll move on to Pineda and Barrera. If those don't work out, we'll move on down here to one of these 3 players. Because we have to get somebody in this transfer window. That is non-negotiable. Somebody has to be brought in here today. So let me start with these offers and we'll see what happens. All right, so we have agreed to terms with the team for a new center attacking mid. And that man is going to be Harlan Barrera. So let's go ahead and negotiate a contract with him. You can see we don't have a lot left in the budget. He was quite expensive, but at least we could afford him. The other one, I mean, Zelarayan, we couldn't afford. He was too expensive. I tried, it didn't work out. Pineda, I decided not to go for. His technical abilities, I think he's better suited for a box-to-box mid. Barrera is a center attacking mid. So this is the guy that we're going to go for here. Let's go ahead and negotiate out a contract with him. I think important first team player. He might want crucial. He does. That's fine. He's a crucial first teamer in my book anyway. Let's see. Contract year or contract length 3 years. Can I get 4 years out of him? Can I get an extra year on there? All right, 4 years is good. $27.2 million release clause. I can accept that. That would be a lot of money for this team if someone took that. And let's see. The contract. Here we go. He's making $5.6 thousand right now, which is very, very cheap. So if I offer him, say, 10K and I don't have a lot of money here to work with on bonuses. Let's go 300,000 bonus. Is that gonna be enough? That's fair. Done deal. I might have overpaid a little bit in the contract, but I wasn't sure what to do with a guy that was that good and getting paid that little. So done. Harlan Barrera is the new center attacking mid for the Columbus Crew. All right, so deadline day is done. The transfer window is closed, but we have a bit of an issue here. Jonathan Mensah did not move to Hellas Verona. He decided he wanted to stay here, but now New York Red Bulls have paid his release clause. And because he showed that loyalty to us by not moving initially, I'm going to show that loyalty to him. It looks like he wants to stay, so I'm going to give him a new contract. Despite wanting Abubakar and Crognale to have more minutes this year, I feel like it's important to keep him in the team as well. So you know what? Let's go ahead and give him his new contract that he wants. Important first team player. That's good. I'm glad I didn't have to give him crucial. That's actually very helpful. 2-year extension seems about right as well. No release clause, please and thank you. He's making 6.5K per week. Let's just bump it up to, let's go 7. I'm pretty happy with 7. Again, I don't have a lot of money here for signing bonuses, but maybe 100K. Can I get it done? Almost. He wants a little bit. It's okay. I'm fine. I'm fine doing that. We'll just edit this a little bit. We'll bump that up to 200. His wages are actually going down, which is kind of bizarre, but let's see if that will get it done. And it does. So Jonathan Mensah staying at the team. No more release clause for him. So now we can have a look at the team that is set to begin season number 2 here in Columbus. We already talked about Facundo Ferreira up top. He's going to be a great addition to this team. He had a really good preseason tournament, scored quite a few goals. I'm looking forward to getting in and seeing what I can do with him in this upcoming season. Barrera is our new center attacking mid, and he's actually not even a designated player. I just realized he's only making 10K a week in wages. He's not even a designated player on this team. That's incredible for a player that's 76 overall and has a lot of room to grow, a lot of potential in him. He can get up over 80. So that's a huge steal for this team. And I don't think I actually showed you his attributes and abilities as well. So we'll have a quick look at that. Great physical stats, sprint speed, agility, balance, all look really, really good. The one knock on him is his stamina. It's not good, but we can train that up. No problem there. And on top of that, he's not just a center attacking mid. He can play on the wing or at striker, which gives him some unique abilities in the center attacking mid spot that other cams might not have, such as his crossing is really good, so he'll probably be taking our corners for us. That's a huge plus for us, as that was Higuain's job. And his finishing is really good as well because he can play strikers. So there isn't really anything this guy can't do, and I'm really excited to see what he will do for us this year. On top of everything else, he's a 4-star player with high-low work rates. He just looks like an ideal addition for this team. We already talked about Jonathan Mensah staying put. I'm happy to have him still here. I said I don't want to blow this entire team up, so I'm glad we were able to keep him. And then Hernandez, we already said he's going to be our primary right back this year now that Affle is gone. And then a couple of other small additions. Cannon for some depth in the right back spot. Might give him a little bit of training. He might end up getting a few more minutes than we might expect this year. And then in a minor deal, just at the end of deadline day, I brought in Chris Durkin from DC United just to give a little bit more depth in that center mid spot. I thought that was a place we could use one more player. Plus, I needed to achieve an objective for this season, and he helped me do that as well. So that is the rest of the team. It's looking good. It's still mostly the same team from last year, but we do have a couple of additions that I think are going to provide some different things for us. And I think we're even going to be better than we were last year. So that is where we're going to wrap this first episode up for season number 2. I know I didn't play any games, but everything that took place, even though it doesn't seem like all that much, it took a long time to do it because of all the planning that had to go in, because we were just fraction off from getting these players, and I had to play. That was maybe one of the most stressful off-season transfer windows I've ever had for an MLS team, which fits perfectly in line with this whole Columbus series so far. But hopefully, I said we're going to be better than we were last year. I'm just hoping we're more consistent and we're able to, when we have the opportunity, put teams away and just kind of cruise through a couple of games here and there, because we sure as hell were not able to do that last season. So that's it for this one. If you did enjoy it and you're looking forward to season number 2, make sure to let me know by leaving a like below, subscribe if you're new, and I will see you when we come back to actually get in and start season number 2 with the crew. See you.